Friday at CES 2016, and today we're going to be looking at eye tracking technologies, opportunities for health education tracking, avatar mind robotics that can be really useful for specifically learner differences, and gyroptics 360-degree recording. We hope you enjoy this episode. All right, we are looking at eye tracking here at Tobii with Anders, who's got a technology that helps to allow you to move around inside of a computer space by tracking your eye movements. It's a very simple bar, either integrated into the computer or added onto your computer. We can imagine in an e-learning setting how we might be able to use that. So Anders is going to give us some ideas that he has. I'm going to give you some ideas that I have. We're going to think a little bit about e-learning and eye tracking.
Yeah. So eye tracking today, what you see here is becoming very big and moving into general gaming. So it's being integrated into laptops and being used to play a lot of common mainstream games. But eye tracking is actually a technology that would be really useful for e-learning as well. So a couple of things you could think about are, for example, people that have dyslexia. If you have dyslexia, there's certain eye movement patterns that go along with that. And part of dyslexia is related to that. Whereas with
you can diagnose
you can diagnose it. Oh, yeah, partly that, and partly then train people. Like you could learn. You can learn. That's been shown. You can learn like what eye movements you're doing wrong, and then be rewarded in different ways if you then start looking in a pattern that works better for like not having dyslexia. Another great usage for eye tracking in e-learning is imagine you want to learn a new language. You play a simple game where you're just looking around and you're seeing all kinds of things in the game, and as soon as you see something, you hear what that thing is called in the language you want to learn. So you see a pig, you see that pig, and then as soon as you look at it, then it says the word pig in Spanish, for example, if you're learning Spanish. And there's a correlation between how your memory works and where you're looking. So that way you would learn really quickly a new language.
Oh yeah.
Those are just a couple of ideas.
Now I can think also, you were talking about dyslexia, but another significant eye movement disability is Asperger's, right? Where people really are having trouble focusing on other people's faces and making eye contact. So I can imagine that this would be a really good training tool for that as well.
Yeah, so for that type of thing, I mean, eye contact is a critical part of communicating. Of course, with an eye tracker, you can know, like if I'm looking at you now, or if I'm looking at you. That type of thing, an eye tracker can note, and then it can.
So I got to play with it, and I'm an older person, so gaming for me does not always come naturally. I really have to learn everything. So I was thrilled because everywhere I looked, I could shoot, and I thought that was just amazing. So I can see lots of possible applications within the gaming and learning context for sure. It's just a wonderful technology. Congratulations. Just a great job. It's really there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Okay. We're back at CES 2016 in the Venetian with Martin from Tupelo Life. So for those of you out there who are thinking about how to teach health in an online setting, and this is more and more common among high schools, PE and health, there are a lot of products here at CES this year that are going to be very helpful for those of you who are trying to track health activities, and that can be very, very useful for online virtual academies and cyber charters who are specifically looking at the PE space. So Martin, tell us a little bit about Tupelo Life and what y'all are doing here.
So thanks very much. So Tupelo Life, we're a US-based company, but we also have offices in the Middle East, and we also have offices in India. So where we came from initially as a company was really exploring innovative ways with which we can move people towards healthier outcomes. And one of the things we look at is children. So we're very interested in the demographic of 7 and 13 years of age, because we believe if we can reinforce positive health attributes within that age group, then it's the possibilities they can take those health attributes into adulthood. So one of the things we've been looking at is how we can deploy health via virtual reality into the classroom. So we take simple activity trackers like this, we deploy them to the kids. So 30 or 40 of these can go into a classroom. And as they're syncing their data on a daily basis and on a monthly basis, we can then open that up to a virtual reality experience, and then we can start to educate them in the context of what is great health. And we can also educate them what bad health looks like as well. And the immersive experience helps us deliver that message. So through the headset, and through very simple mobile applications, now we can provide fairly deep and immersive instruction about what makes great health choices.
Fantastic.
And so that's what we've been doing.
That's great, Martin. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're here with Sherry from Avatar Mind. There are a lot of robots over in the Venetian in this area, and we're having a lot of fun exploring them and thinking about what kinds of possible applications could we have if we had lots of robots in everybody's houses. So again, we're kind of thinking down the line, maybe 10, 20 years, when everybody has one of these in their household, what could we use it for if we were interested in electronic learning? Obviously, I think the most natural solution or application for this is to think about putting robots into place as individual tutors and teachers. Right now, when you go into an e-learning environment, whether it's a cyber charter, a virtual academy, or a corporate online learning experience, you're basically left with just a Skype type of interview experience, very two-dimensional, not very personalized. It's still one teacher to a large group of students. This gives us the opportunity to really tailor learning for the learner in a pretty significant way. Lots of kids who end up in cyber charters and virtual academies may have particular special needs, very diverse learner differences. So this could be a really good application for that. I'm going to let Sherry tell us a little bit more about this. She's a therapist who works particularly with autistic children and the robot.
Yes. So a lot of the market that we are in educational systems, and we're working our way into clinicians or clinical settings. That's what to say. So what we do with the robot is we build a software. We push a lot of activities, lesson plans, anything that the therapist would hand me and say, okay, so this child is learning expected versus unexpected behavior. What can you do with it?
Yeah.
With using robotics. So I would develop a plan, illustrations, materials, all that content, and I will script it to the robot so the robot becomes that best friend, that buddy system to the child. And studies have shown that with robotics, there has been a higher level of engagement versus a child with autism and other human beings, or even with an iPad. So
outstanding. That's exactly the kind of thing that we're thinking might make a lot of sense here, is that you can really tailor it for the learner.
Yes, absolutely. So a lot of the activities, it's very tailored. It's very per child. They say if you meet one child or one person with autism, you've only met one person with autism.
Sure.
So a lot of the things we are tailored, whether it's easy, whether it's like an open-ended question or a multiple choice question, giving them the option to choose between yes or no and I want this, I don't want this kind of thing, using the sensors in the robot themselves. And so this little guy right here, you can see it has the little tablet up here. What it can also do is, because of the tablet, there's a camera system here that can do a telecommunication with the child, or telepresence with the child, so that even when the child is interacting with the robot, they can see how they're interacting, how their education is doing through that camera.
Fantastic. So, an amazing new idea for using a robot with kids who may be separated from a traditional classroom. Maybe they're in a remote location, or maybe they are ice skaters and they need to have a cyber charter experience or a virtual academy experience. This is a really interesting possible solution that can really pay attention to learner differences. Thanks again for helping us, Sherry. We appreciate it.
Welcome.
Bye now. At the Gyroptic space here at CES 2016 with Marion, right?
Yes.
Who's going to be talking with us a little bit about the Gyroptic camera and the capabilities that it affords for things like e-learning, online learning, things like that. So I'll turn it over to you. What kinds of applications can you imagine for a setting where you're doing any kind of online learning?
Well, we have a lot actually of applications. So first, like the camera actually records in 360, so up, down, all around. So we have 3 optic, 3 microphones that give you a sense of, well, everything happening all around you.
Everything all around you.
Everything.
So when you
And
take
you
a
can play-
video, it's like you're aiming at everything all at once.
Yes, exactly. And so you can play back those contents anywhere, from a computer where you can drag with your mouse, smartphones, tablets, by else dragging your fingers, or just like even look around you like this, waving your device around. Cardboard too, so you get a sense of actually looking at as if you were there. And even like probably the most immersive experience by being into an Oculus Rift or any VR headset. So of course, like once you've been there and you get a sense of I'm here, I'm experiencing somewhere I'm not. Yes. You can think like all the application about education that can be, for instance, remote children, like that can't attend school because it's too far. Then you can have actually a camera live streaming from the classroom. They can just like strap on the Oculus Rift, for instance, and feel like they are actually in the classroom.
Actually in that classroom.
Yes,
they can
exactly.
look all around in 360 degrees.
They can focus on the teacher. They can
That's
feel
right.
about the sense of being there with like the camera like all around. That's actually in the classrooms. They can ask questions like.
Even for cultural immersion or cultural sensitivity, learning a little bit more about a space prior to actually being in a place, you could go and you could see some of the sites before you get there, so that you wouldn't be so taken up with that in the middle of trying to learn about the culture.
Yeah, absolutely. So there is for instance, Chris Milk, which is working a lot on VR, has been doing a movie in Syria in 360, and people actually watching this content in a VR headset tends to have like much more empathy and a real sense of what's happening there.
Exactly. More empathy, more cultural sensitivity as a result of
much closer than just like watching on the distant screen on the TV or stuff. There is also something interesting, like we've been, for instance, using the camera of a surgeon. The surgeon has been wearing the cameras on his forehead like this.
Yes.
It's been recording the full surgery, and now it's allowed like young interns, like you're studying in medicine,
to learn from that surgeon.
Exactly, just like to feel that they are actually the surgeon, see the perform surgery, they have the surgeon, like the assistant on the side, the metrics, everything, and they can practice like virtually the same surgery over and over again before actually heading to the block.
Right, excellent.
And as we can do live streaming, we can also have live assistance tomorrow for the same type of applications.
So if there was an event, for instance, a specific event that somebody wanted to be able to attend, you could do live streaming for that.
Exactly.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. Marion, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci.